GARIN REID, the number 45 ranked player in the entire nation. What's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and he's the number 3 defensive end, and he is interesting. You can see right now he's 79 overall. He is a game changer on the defensive side of the ball. To pair with Andre Armstead and Terrence Miller, that would be an awesome pass rush. As you can see, we're in 3rd place right now, and we're going to get into more of his ratings a little bit later, but this guy is a beast. So hopping straight into the rest of the recruiting here. Unfortunately, last year we did have a lot of luck, because usually when you create custom recruits, you get locked out with a lot of them, and that's kind of the case here. Kevin Kirkland, a pretty good offensive linebacker, a 3-star, 835 ranked in the country, and you can see his skills here. It looks like he didn't have great speed, but he was a smart defender, B play recognition, and that's probably what he had going for him, and you never know what his overall could have been. Andre Norman, another one, the number 400 ranked defensive tackle, and defensive tackle was one of those positions that we do need heading into next year, because we do have 3 defensive tackles that are seniors, so we will need to replace them. Demetrius Fields was a coverage linebacker. You see 6'1", 225. I was actually pretty excited to go after him, but turns out that he is locking us out, and it looks like we probably will not have a chance at him, so that kind of sucks. It's kind of unfortunate, you know, when you create these custom recruits, you don't know if you're going to be locked out or not, but unfortunately for these first 3 guys, we were. Then we had one last guy, Ncaa Taylor. It looks like he locked us out. He was actually the number 132 ranked tackle, and they actually had him started out at 58 overall. I'm pretty sure he wasn't that low. I don't really know, because I don't like to look at their overalls when I am creating them. I just kind of gauge off of just the skills, but it looks like he's decent in passing and decent in impact block. But dang, 4 recruits total lock us out this year. So looking at our pipeline states, unfortunately, we do not add another pipeline state. We've been trying to do this the past 3 years, and we have been unsuccessful each year, and we don't even have one new for next year at all. And that kind of sucks, because that was what we were trying to do here. So we are going to recruit heavily in the state of California. So looking at all of our recruits here, we have 11 total in California. We have 1 over in Hawaii, and just a few sprinkled up across the southeastern part of the United States, and then 1 up north in Wisconsin. So California is exactly where we're going to start with Andre Rusimov Jr. That's right, Andre the Giant's son, and he is kind of an older freshman coming in, and he's going to be, you know, experienced in that way. But I think we need some offensive line help, especially after giving up a 5-sack game to Virginia Tech. We need some big guys on the outside to block for us, and I think he's going to be a good candidate for the future. Now, I had mentioned that there's one more Taylor brother. We have Jamal and Jay. Then there's Elijah, who actually has probably the most potential out of anybody. I think Jay has something to say about that. I'm not sure, but Elijah Taylor is special. And one thing that I really like about him is that he's instinctive. I mean, he gets after the ball. You can see after every play, he's in on the tackle. He's a good tackler. He's good in zone. And the only thing he really has to work on is his man coverage. He's not the greatest in man, and we haven't been able to play a ton of man, and that's definitely something that I want to switch to. But he is a good tackler, so that is a plus when I need to play him in the slot, especially to stop the run. So I want to see what he can do on this team. We do have a couple of corners graduating. Jalen Nelson comes to mind. Nehemiah Shelton comes to mind. So there are a couple of guys that are moving on, so we will need to replace those guys, and I'm not sure that Trey White is going to be a number 1 corner coming into next year, so we will need to address that. But Elijah Taylor is a pretty good cornerback, and he could possibly play a little bit of safety coming in to next year as a freshman. Speaking of safety, that does lead me into Deshante Burney II out of Compton, California, the number 55 ranked free safety. One thing I really like about him is that, you know, he's relentless. He gets after the ball with great effort, and that's definitely something that we're going to need, because you know, seeing guys like Jonathan Leonard and Trey Webb both graduate is definitely going to be hard to find that leadership on the back end of the defense. He does come with good speed, really good speed at that, at safety. He's coming in at 90 speed. That's pretty good. And I think that, you know, even in the return game, if, say, Jamal Taylor needs a rest, I think he can definitely be back there with him. I don't think Jay Taylor's a true returner because he is kind of slower, but he's a lot quicker. So I do like him with that breakaway speed. He's got 90 speed on the defensive side. And plus, you know, using Jamal Taylor back there, he gets tired when going on to offense. So it might be useful to use the defensive guy back to receive kicks. So looking at the list of top cornerbacks in the nation, you can just see a lot of these top guys aren't really interested in us. So we're going to have to go get some guys that are kind of middle of the road corners. But there's a guy that they are just missing here, and I think they have him definitely not ranked right. Let's check out JoJo Forrest. So now we travel to the east part of the United States where we go to Georgia, and we kind of had some luck recruiting in Georgia last couple years. We've had at least one prospect from Georgia, so we want to do our due diligence going out there. That's where we met up with Richardson Parker out of Morven, Georgia. He's an option quarterback, and the thing I like about him is that, yes, he can play quarterback, and right now we have Drayvon Jennings, but, you know, last game really showed me something that he may be injury prone. And we do have REID backing him up, but we don't really have anybody that's, you know, super athletic that can play receiver, play quarterback, play running back, play it all. And I think Richardson can definitely do that. I think that he's a great athlete. He runs the ball with power, with speed, and agility. I think he's definitely a guy that is on the candidacy to be like an all-around Iron Man athlete, maybe even play a little defense. You never know. And one thing I do want to work on with him is that, you know, he doesn't have the greatest of throw power, and he isn't the greatest decision maker. So maybe if we put him in the offense, let him sit behind Drayvon Jennings, because Drayvon Jennings seems like, you know, he's just got it all right now. And we just sit him behind Drayvon. I think that he can grow and maybe turn into something. You never know. This could be a boom or bust type of prospect. I don't know, but we don't have to rush him into play right now, and I think that he's definitely a candidate for redshirting, but I like the potential I see out of him. And that brings me to probably the most skilled guy on our board, and probably he might be the best guy on our board, Andrew Jordan, an athlete out of Mustang, Oklahoma. And the thing about him is that he had a great junior year on defense. He was a shutdown corner, all state, and it was pretty much unanimous. But then he came into his senior season. He kind of had to play offense a lot more, and his high school coach kind of held him out of playing defense. So that's pretty much all the film we have on him is on offense, because we just realized he was there this past season. But, you know, he is kind of a under-recruited guy because he had a good defensive year last season, and then he kind of dipped off because his team was so bad his senior year, and he kind of didn't earn any All-State honors at all. But he's still a highly recruited athlete from Alabama, so we do want to keep our eye on him. So I am a sucker for going after these athletic tight ends, and we haven't had one at all in any of our dynasties, really. And one guy I just couldn't ignore. Let's just check out the top recruit in Colorado, Desmond Jackson. So you guys had mentioned before that you wanted me to go after Mike Fuller. He is a 5-star prospect, and the thing is, I went after him the first week, and then after that I simmed it, and look at this. I mean, we went down by 2,000 points. Even after putting 500 full points on him and being first place, we dropped down to 7th. And that just shows you that, you know, these 5-star prospects are just not ready to commit to San Jose State, and that's kind of unfortunate because it looks like he's a pretty good athlete, and you can see his 40 time, a 4.44, and that's pretty good. 265 bench press, 305 squat, and at 6'2", 216, he has pretty good size. And that leads me to the great state of Hawaii, where we do get another top 200 prospect we're going after, and he's pretty good. Let's check out Hau'oli Managa. So let's get into our full recruiting board here. GARIN REID is the top prospect, number 3 in the nation at defensive end. He is a game changer. We have 360 in a weekly bonus there because obviously his playing time will be an A and his proximity to home is an A, obviously. And look at him. He's got 84 speed, 81 power moves, 83 block shedding. I mean, that is just unheard of. His play recognition is high. I think he's just going to be a star if he commits to our school. But look at this. We're in pretty much a deadlock with pretty much 6 other teams, but only 4 are pretty much in contention. But we got to keep winning. I mean, I feel like that's the only way we're going to win over this guy, because, I mean, it looks like he's going to Stanford, Cal, and UCLA. I mean, those are the 3 teams we got to compete with in California in recruiting, along with USC. And you can see we got to have a big game when he does come to visit, and we're going to have to show up for him as we have some pretty good competition. So looking at a JUCO sophomore, Sherman Kurtz. I really like this guy. Playing style, playing time, and proximity to home, we all get bonuses for this guy. And let's just look at his skills. He's pretty good, to be honest. 77 power moves. He is going to come in as a sophomore because he is a JUCO, but he can tackle pretty well. His play recognition does need some work, but he has good acceleration as a defensive tackle and good speed. And we're actually in first place by about 1,000. So we're going to have him with 3 years eligibility if he does commit, but it looks like we're in the driver's seat. Elijah Taylor, the youngest of the Taylor brothers in the last one, San Jose, California. He's ranked number 72 in the nation at cornerback, and you can see we have a pretty good bonus. I think we're pretty much a lock to get him. I don't think a lot of guys are going after these Taylor guys. I don't know what it is, but Elijah Taylor, he's pretty good in zone. You can see he's got decent speed, and he can tackle decent for a corner. Haoli Managa, I mean, this guy, he's pretty good. I don't want to miss out on him because we do need a true tackler like we did with Ethan Aguayo. Just the impact that he had on our defense was amazing. But you can see we're in a tight race with UCLA. It looks like it's going to come down to the 2 of us. But let's just look at his ratings here. He's a great tackler at 80 as a freshman, 85 hit power. He's going to come with the hitters too. And, you know, it's just a guy that we need, a guy that we can really, really use on our defense. I like Isaac Tagia at the right outside linebacker. I don't really like him too much at middle, so maybe Managa can take over there. JoJo Forrest, I think, will end up being the best prospect we have in this class. I think, not hands down, but I think he will be. JoJo Forrest, he's 73 overall, 88 speed. He's going to make it to low 90s by the time he graduates, and he's got an all-around coverage game. He's got great technique, great tackling at 69. I mean, it can use some work, obviously, but at 80 play recognition as a freshman and 80s plus in zone and man, I mean, that is just unheard of. And we are in the lead with a the visit scheduled week 9, as we are 68% locked with this guy. So hopefully he commits during that visit. Andrew Jordan, I mentioned that he is from Alabama. He moved to Oklahoma, and you can see we're behind Alabama. So he wants to go back home, but look at him. He's an all-around athlete. I mentioned that he played defense as a junior and then moved to quarterback as a senior, and his high school coach held him out on defense because he didn't want to risk him to get hurt. But here's the thing. This guy can play defense, 83 play rec, 89 man, 85 zone. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that he would start day 1 as our number 1 cornerback. I think he's that good. But the thing is, we're going up against a juggernaut in Alabama. I don't know if we have a true shot. He is only 25% locked, so I am holding on to that. So hopefully we can come through. Desmond Jackson, the number 10 tight end out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. He's a good tight end. I mean, he can block pretty well for a tight end. He has good catching ability. His spec-tac is at 80. He has great speed, 83 speed, 87 acceleration. He can jump. And you know what? He can run with the ball. He's got 77 trucks, 70 break tackle. He's pretty good, and I think that, you know, he's going to be a star at the next level. The problem is we're competing with 2 other schools that are kind of closer to him. So Colorado, Arizona, they probably have a bigger bonus than we do, but we do want to keep our eyes open. Corey Edmonds is a guy that I actually thought I would have a good chance at. He's a 91 speed guy, 91 acceleration. He doesn't have great size, but he's one of those Deshaun Jackson types, 5'10", below 200 pounds, but we're behind 2,000. And we're just way too far, and it looks like he's either going to Utah or Utah State, probably one of those 2. So let's look at Kevin Brenner, a tight end, another one. We need to get at least 1 tight end because we're kind of thin at the tight end position with Billy Humphreys and Junior Fioka, and those guys are going to be graduating pretty soon, so we got to kind of shore up at that position. But Kevin Brenner's actually more athletic, 85 speed, 85 acceleration. He actually can catch the ball a lot better too, 80 catching. So this guy is an interesting guy. He's only 67 overall, but we are creeping up with him and with some guys that, you know, we might not be high up on their list on. We might be able to sneak some points over to Kevin Brenner. We don't have a big bonus with him, so we do want to keep an eye on him. Storm Hardaway is the number 22 outside linebacker. He's pretty good. He's really, really good, to be honest. 6'4", he's got good size, and he's got great acceleration. He's going to get off the ball, and with finesse moves at 80, that's really good as a pass rusher. I'm really excited about him, and I think that he could be a candidate to start after Tyson Parker leaves. He's got 2 more years of eligibility. Jace Livingston is a middle linebacker out of Oakland, and you can just see we're behind 1,600. Maybe this is a guy that we can take the points off of. He is a custom recruit, and I tried to go after him, but it just seemed like we were slipping way too fast. He's a good tackler, doesn't have great speed, but he can get after the ball with 81 pursuit. Sean Anderson, like I said, we need some defensive tackles, and I just think that this guy is a candidate for redshirting, though. I think he does need a year redshirting. He's another custom recruit here. Sean Anderson, 6'5", 230, but I think that he can add some strength to his frame. He's at 75 strength, and I need a guy that's higher strength at defensive tackle right now, and I don't know if he's going to be there. Now, an underrated cornerback, if there ever was one, was Sammy Baldwin. He's only 5'9", 175, but I think he's our future at slot. He has good man, so that's really important, especially in the slot. The computer likes to run a lot of slot receivers out with routes, and they like to sub their best receivers into the slot. And you're going to need a good man coverage corner inside, and at the nickel position, we don't really have a guy that's solidified in our future. Trey Webb plays there now, but he's just a special guy. And this guy looks like he's committing to us pretty soon. We're ahead by 1,300, and I like the potential out of him. Unfortunately, Andre the Giant's his son, I guess he's not little, but he's the number 32 tackle, but it doesn't look like he's coming. 6'8", 320. Let's look at his skills here. He's pretty good all around, and he probably would get redshirted, but it doesn't look like we even have a shot. But no other team has offered him a scholarship, so maybe we can drag this out into the offseason. We could have a chance. Deshante Burney, let's talk about him. He's a guy that I really, really liked because of his speed, and he has some potential covering as well. He does need to work on his tackling. I thought that he was a better tackler than what he showed on film, but I don't know. He's got 90 speed, so I'm really counting on that. He can run sideline to sideline. I like that, and he's a guy to keep your eye on. Ricky Langford, 6'3", 205. This guy is pretty big, and he doesn't have the greatest speed, but he's just an all-around safety. I'm actually excited for him. He's one of those guys that I think we can move to linebacker eventually, kind of what we did with Michael Cummings. Remember, Michael Cummings was a safety coming in as well. We redshirted him and converted him into linebacker. Jeff Givens is a 67 overall cornerback. We do need cornerback help, and maybe he's a candidate to possibly be a starter down the road. I don't see it right now. He has decent coverage, but not good enough to, show up anybody from day one. He has good speed, 88 speed, so he's a guy to keep your eye out on, and we're ahead by 900. Unfortunately, a guy that I was really, really excited about, Richardson Parker, the number 77 quarterback. He's more of an athlete to me. He can play a lot of positions. You can just see he can throw the ball decent. I mean, he's not great. He will need a redshirt year, but he can run the ball. 87 speed, 87 acceleration. And I thought that he would be perfect for this offense as a gadget player, but it just doesn't seem like we're going to be close to getting him. So let's look at the last 4 guys here. Jaden Dixon out of Bakersfield, California, 5'9", 170. One thing I really like about him is that he's got speed. I mean, this guy can fly, and he's maybe even a future running back. He's listed at receiver right now, but he even has a chance to be a running back. We'll see if we can carry this out into the offseason as we eliminate some guys from our board and take away their points because we're not really close. But we are within 700 with him, and we do have the proximity to home, so maybe we can, step it up in recruiting. The last 3 guys, Darian Hobbs, 67 overall. He's an outside linebacker. And you know what? He's got speed. He's got athleticism, but he can work on some other stuff. So I think that he would get redshirted if we did get him to commit. But he's out of Mississippi. We're behind by about 800 or so, 900. And I just don't think that we're going to be close. I don't really go after too many JUCOs, but Jim Hagan was intriguing. But he's another guy out of Georgia. Like I said, I like to recruit out of Georgia. They have some really athletic defensive guys each year, and he has 84 speed, but we're just too far back, 1,400. Doesn't make sense to keep him on the board, so let's actually remove him right now and then hop into the next guy, Dan White, a defensive end. I think that he's a guy that we can possibly move to defensive tackle. That's the main reason why I'm going after him. He has high pursuit, high block shed, and high power moves, and he's actually decent at finesse moves. So I actually think that this guy might be a better player than most guys are giving him credit for. He's actually a 4-star recruit. So maybe we can add some points onto him, and we are actually last place, you can see, behind by 575, but you see his top schools. He's only 14% locked. And remember, we do add prospects to the board only during our bye week. So it's going to be now in between the bye weeks, our board is going to be the same, and it's going to be the same throughout the rest of the year from the bye week. So this is what our recruiting board is looking like. What do you guys think of this recruiting class? I really like the potential out of all of these guys. I think all of these guys are unique in their own way. We didn't really recruit on offense heavy. We didn't recruit any running backs really, and we didn't recruit any receivers. So we're really depending on a lot of these guys that are either redshirted right now or athletes that might be coming in to kind of, you know, fill those gaps at receiver and running back, because we do have Tyler Nevins graduating, and also we have, you know, guys like Trey Walker graduating, and then Billy Humphries is close. So let me know what you guys think, and we're hopping straight back into the action next week. We are going up against West Virginia, number 11 ranked in points per game. They are ranked number 11 in the nation as well, and this is going to be a good one. As you can see, they are a pretty good team. They actually turned the ball over. No, they forced 3 turnovers, did they? Let me see. So they scored 3 touchdowns, so I'm guessing they actually turned the ball over 3 times. It says -11 with their turnover differential. -3 I meant. So I'm pretty sure they turned the ball over 3 times in their first game, but you can just see, you know, their leaders here. Petaway is there at running back, 95 yards off of 15 carries last game, and it's gonna be pretty interesting because look at him, he's a receiving back as well, 6 receptions for 98 yards and a touchdown, and then he had 15 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. So it's gonna be interesting playing a team like that. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. You don't want to miss this action. Another Virginia team. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.